blessings to you guys. My name is Big Hass from Revolt Magazine. It's an honor to be here in Dubai, the third line. I have with me the one and only Hassan Hajjaj, who is a photographer, a designer, filmmaker, and most importantly, a great human being. What's up, man?
Thank you for your kind words. I'm good, feeling good. I've just done a good session with Malika and El Cid, so I'm feeling extra good.
Yeah. Before I get into it, let's just talk about that. A lot of people, when they get photo shoot by you, they go out feeling very happy, very cool. They say this has been really great. What is it about it? What is it about that photo session that makes?
I think it has to be a connection between the two, between myself and the person, and also it has to be a memorable time. So I think it's about comfort. Because normally I'm trying to bring them to my world, but also trying to touch their world.
Yes.
So it's a combination of all this to really to react to the person, and also it depends on the shoot, because my stuff is kind of staged. So I always look at it as a bit of theatre. So I'm trying to say to them, listen, have fun. This is a bit more like theatre, but it's because at the end of the day, the image has to have the spirit of the person more than the outfits or the designs. So
big up for that. Huge fan of your work. Like I said, and you have that unique style that captures the soul. I mean, I'm not into, I'm into art, but I'm not an artist myself, but it just captures my soul. How did that evolve?
Well, you just said it. I didn't study art, so I think it was something that I've had, my journey in life. I had lots of connections in the past, doing lots of underground parties, and, so it's about communicating. Yeah. And I think it's really, it's that also lots of people I take pictures of is people that I would probably hang with or grow up with. So there's an immediate understanding, communication, and it's about trust. So it's it's a mishmash of everything, trying to get that that uniqueness in the image.
Yeah. I personally found out about your work through the homie Narcy, who you of course, and through this amazing the Rockstars experience. Yeah. Tell us more about that.
Well, the Rockstar, again, the question you just asked me, as I was starting to do photography, I realized I had this incredible people around me, like, doing so much, from different types of creative people, from a boxer to a henna man to a singer to everything. So for these are the underdogs like myself, I wanted to kind of represent. That's why I call it my rock stars. When you say my rock stars, normally you think long hair, guitar, and leather jacket. So I played on that kind of word and trying to create the underdogs. The people that actually have something, and that's what they live with this code, and it's in their blood. So it's always making sure doing that. So it's not a fashion shoot. It's not kind of just an art shoot. And for me also, it's great because my Rockstar shows the side of me growing up in London in that cosmopolitan background, a backdrop. And it's also the influences I've had, the traveling, the food, the friends, the music, all this kind of stuff. So that's really the Rockstars about this. That's why I'm doing it in volume. Then I realised there's just too many people around that, and also deserve this kind of platform because they're not mainstream. Yeah,
mashallah, man. Again, Your work, you speak about feminism, you speak about equality. I mean, it speaks alone in itself. And I think it's bringing awareness, for sure. My question to you is, how do you think change is going to happen? Because awareness is different than change. Do you think change can happen?
Well, people change, cities change, the world change. I mean, I just, you're talking about, it's very hard for me as a man to kind of trying to tackle feminine situation. All I can say, I've been lucky, and maybe that's helped me along the line that, growing up with my mum, my grandma, my auntie, and my three sisters in the house. I was the only boy. So maybe that's something that kind of made me, a little bit more understanding. And it's a very sensitive, even this show, to have Arab woman gym, it's a big thing. I was worrying, and I luckily through the show I had a really good response from our region, from women, so I felt like I've done something positive. So it's kind of, again, it's growing up in that, and I'm not really talking or tackling feminism. It's just something that happened along the way without analysing it, and maybe it was like there's some came natural. I hope that's what happened.
Yeah, I come from Saudi Arabia, one of the most conservative countries in the world. In GCC, at least, it is the most conservative, and it's really, really very personal to me. And I say that on camera. That sadly in Saudi Arabia, some schools even don't allow the students to play sports. And we are now at this the third line with gym for Arab women. It's very important. I want to just big salute to you on that. Just seriously,
Thank
because
you.
very
No, thank
important,
you.
very important to me. This is what creates change, and that's what creates perceptions in the mind of the people who are ignorant. It's ignorant not to allow women to play sports. It's ignorant. We had one woman actually, sir, that won the second or third medal in the Olympics via horse riding. She's Saudi. They did not give her any kind of support. They said women are not supposed to play sports.
Yeah.
So how do you think this, the Gym for Our Women, is hopefully going to change that perception with what you're trying to do here?
Well, again, the thing you just said, I'm coming from Morocco, so it's like another different point of view coming from women and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, you just said something about the woman who won the horse racing.
Yes.
So immediately, I'm living between London and Morocco, and I know what the West kind of think about seeing a woman maybe in, like my cousin, for example, would go to the beach. She would swim with her hijab and her, her long dress. And if my friends with me from London, they kind of find it funny. So I played on this scenario.
Okay.
If you go to the beach, you're going to see the same thing. You might see even in India, a woman in the sari swimming in the sea with the sari. So there is sports, there is people exercising. So I'm trying to highlight this, that it's just different, maybe costumes, outfits, but there is women actually exercise across the Arab world. So you have this new generation that, like Europe, they go to these new gyms and do the spa to keep fit, and then you have people like my cousin and some of my family that they go to the beach or might go jogging. Sometimes they go walking. That's like their sport. So again, I played on this. With the show, I took a spirit, a spirit of a gym in Marrakesh in the old Medina, very local. They have time for men and time for women.
Right.
So I kind of played with this idea, and I hope it highlights because it does happen. There is sports in our culture.
It is. Tell us about the halal and haram, because that's definitely one of my favorite. Because coming from Saudi Arabia again, everything is halal, haram. Music is halal, music is haram.
Yeah.
This is halal, this is haram. Everything is right or wrong. So the fact that you put it is. Tell us about that.
Well, this came up. Actually, this piece of work I think I've done in 2008, and basically, again, as a Muslim growing up in a Muslim country and living in London, it's exactly there's a monitor in your head going haram, Muslim, haram, and I know it's not just me, it's everybody, even the ones that live in the land of Islam. So it's a fight. It's actually you're fighting with yourself. So I use the boxing gloves as a thing, but I also took another thing that kind of highlighted this piece of work. Growing up in London, I grew up with a lot of friends that are working class, and normally you have tattoos, love and hate. Yeah. Love on the right, hate on the left. So again, there's this kind of fight within our own culture, like it's a working class culture. So again, it's a combination of that, but really it's like fighting with yourself. It's what you just said. It's that thing in the mind. Man,
big up to you. A couple more questions for you. I'm really enjoying this, man, and big up to Mustafa, Freak TV, who was doing that, of course.
Something.
Yeah. Shout out to Somalia, man. Yeah. And Hassan, what kind of support have you been getting from the Arab world? You're now based. You have this solo exhibition in Dubai, the Third Line. Shout out to the Third Line, of course. What kind of support you've been getting from the Arab world?
Well, I have to thank Third Line, Sunny, and the team that really put the effort to put on this show. This is my third solo show with the Third Line. This is my home with them. Cool. I feel very proud of them. I've been really lucky. I think the internet, I mean, this is what kind of keeps me pushing to do the work. I didn't realise I've been doing shows 20 years coming up. At one point at the beginning, it felt like a very lonely space. We weren't that many Arab artists showing in the West or having this kind of platforms or attention like their magazines and more galleries. Along this journey, what I didn't realise, there's a lot of people been following work, especially the younger generation, and feeling proud. Suddenly, like now, I get lots of emails and hits or people coming up saying, "Oh, the young Joe." Yeah, exactly. So for me, I feel very proud to get this kind of, let's say, a tick from our culture, because this is very important. It's easy for me maybe to go and do this in London or Europe and go, wow, wow, wow. But if I don't have this support, I feel there's going to be an empty hole.
Man,
so
again,
for me,
another hug live on TV.
For me, this
is big up for that.
Yeah, this has really been important. And actually, this made me, I realised this when I'd done the show in New York, my first show, and it kind of had a lot of press, a lot of things. It was a whole new audience, and it was like, wow, it was a bit overwhelming for me. But people just discovered the work, that don't know the journey, and it made me I have really support that really gave me this platform to the point of New York. So for me, I must not forget where I'm coming from, and I must always remember to come back to our base to continue showing the work.
MashaAllah alayk. Which brings me to my next question. Sometimes, you know, especially in the Arab world or in Saudi Arabia, maybe it's different. It seems art, and especially the art that you do, is only directed towards the rich people, the people who have financially or high-end niche. What do you say about that? Because for me, I think your art is accessible to anybody, and I think art should be accessible to anybody and everybody, regardless of the classes.
I mean, I'm coming from the kind of question you come from. I'm not coming from an art background. When I've done my first shows from, let's say, 20 years ago, I never thought I'd be doing shows and be in this kind of art world. It was really about sharing the work with my friends. And I would normally look for a space that's on the ground floor that I would get my friends to come see the work. That was the idea. You know, when you talk about the question you're asking, that's another side, it's another business. And any business that comes with like kind of from music, film, fashion, there's always, you know, the designer or the star and stuff like that, and there's always this element of people around there, and there's the socializing element of the art world. So it's I think you just have to understand who you are, where you're at, so you don't get lost in that. And for me, my work is for, you know, I love it when a kid loves the work, or somebody, you know, like a grandma loves the work, then I know I'm touching people. I'm hoping my work is for people's people and not for that end.
Which brings me to my question. This comes from my wife, who's a plus-size fashion blogger. And she saw you, I mean, when she found out I'm interviewing you, she went crazy, and she wanted to ask you this. Shout out to Nunzi. And she's saying, in some way, at a first glimpse, we can notice in your art the Arab adaptation of Andy Warhol's Campbell's, Andy Warhol's Campbell soup cans. Now, by using the Arab products as pattern frames around your photos. Explain that hint to the mass media. Is it advertising, consumerism?
I mean, I'm a 60s child, so I've grown up in this, you know, with this kind of advertising and consumership. So for me, using, you know, because I'm using products, the nearest person I've been, you know, kind of attached to is Andy Warhol. If I was using paint, maybe I'll be attached on the side to somebody else. For me, using the products, I found that it communicates to people easier. It brings them to the work. Also, I'm playing with the brands because also like that kind of repeated patterns we have in Islamic culture, like the mosaic. And also to put photography into contemporary art, it's not easy to just have a nice frame of an image. So it's playing with all these notions, and because I'm playing with brands, especially for my early work, this was an easy thing to do. And also my first body of work in the 90s, it was all about brands, you know, all about packaging. So I took from that thing, bridge it into photography.
We saw you shoot Malika. Shout out to Malika, who's a Lebanese rapper here.
And shout out to Malika.
Yeah, shout out to LC too.
Definitely LC, my man.
And while you're shooting, I noticed that music's playing in the background. What kind of music inspires you to shoot? Like, what do you put on?
I mean, you know, whatever music touches my soul, I'm going to listen to it. It could be Indian music, it could be African music. It's like saying what's the best dish you like. You know, it's a hard question. I grew up listening to different types of music, and it goes with the mood. It depends on the mood.
Give us a few names. Maybe our viewers are not familiar. Or like, for example,
some music. I mean, I listen to Gnawa music. I listen to Latin music. I mean, Gnawa, you got Gnawa Impulse, you got Koyo, you got Hamid Abusso, Hamid Qasri. You know, you got my man Narsi, you got Omar, you got Komi, Shafin from Thing, I've got Hindi Zara, you got Zamira, you got Jose James, you got Marcus Teller. I can go on and on and on.
Man, Jose James is one of my favorite.
He's my brother. I've done his album covers, so you know he's one of my rock stars. Man, so check him out. But I mean, you know, there's it depends where you go to. You know, sometimes I think to answer the question, I can't really listen to house music, for example, much. I need sort of something, you know, organic. You know, so you know, I grew up on Gnawa music,
Hassan, that
music.
again, mashallah, this interview I think it can go long, but I'll cut it short. No, I promise. You know, Revolt magazine is one of the few magazines in the Arab world that covers hip hop culture, especially Arabic hip hop.
What's the name of it?
Revolt magazine. And we're revolting against the mainstream, and it started as a blog and then online radio, and then I actually host Saudi's first FM hip hop radio show.
Wow.
And yeah, it's called Leish Hip Hop. Yeah, and now the magazine is that. What I'm trying to say is that, what are your thoughts on this Arabic hip hop movement?
I'm loving it. I mean, as I say, I just finished shooting Malika.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in London with the hip hop thing. You know, I had a store called Rap in 1984, so it shows you how old I am. So I grew up on very early.
You're familiar with the Loki?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really, that was you know, I kind of fell out of love with hip hop probably mid-90s. But from the beginning, I was there with it. I used to have my label called Rap. I used to, you know, have all the underground friends in London wearing my stuff. I had, you know, a few people in New York and LA wearing the stuff at the time. So for me, what I've noticed is over the last few years, there's definitely every country in the Arab world, there's these little seeds growing, you know, like I'm seeing like hits for 2-3 million hits on the video, and they're not known outside even their country. So there's definitely something going on, but I just think they have to do research and go back to understand where it is, the culture of hip hop, and this is very important. And to say that Lisa Leons has a show in Dubai, she's you know, you can see where she's coming from, and she gives you like a history, and that's my girl. So I grew up in that era of Lisa Leon.
And big up for you for even bringing it here. She said that you had a lot to do with that, of course.
Well, it's her. I mean, I've just done the bridging, but it's her work, so she's the one who's got to get
what can we look forward in the future? What can we expect from Hassan Hajjaj?
A few projects I'm doing. What am I doing? I have a group show in London with Duro Ulu, like it's a group show. I have another show in Black Dandy in London. I have a solo show in Brooks Museum in Memphis on the 26th of May, inshallah. I have a show in Colette in Paris on the 4th of July. And I'm shooting and filming between, and a few other projects coming up next year.
Man, big up for you. Any last words for your audience, Revolt Magazine, and throughout the Arab world? Go ahead.
Keep it real.
Keep it real. Yeah, my man. Do you ever think that you would make it to Saudi? I want to bring you to Saudi Arabia because we'll make a revolution in Saudi.
I would love to. No, I'm serious.
You have a lot of fans in Saudi.
I wanted to kind of. I was supposed to do a project there last year. But it didn't happen, you know. But I would love to. I mean, really.
We'll work on
it. I'm ready.
Cool. Hassan Hajjaj, thank you very much, man. Habibi, alaikum salam, Habibi, and big up to you, man.
No, you too.
I'm a big fan.
I mean, you know,
shout out to, of course, the you know, and of course, I want to just say something on camera that. I'm not an artist. I'm a human being that believes in good, authentic vibes, and I believe that your work can elevate people. It's not only lyrics. It's not only lyrics. It's this work. It's that work that can create discussions, that can provoke. This is the kind of work we need. And big up to you, my man. No, you know, seriously. Shout out to you.
Thank you for what you're doing as well, man. Malika, come. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. We have Malika, of course. We got to shout out Malika. Yeah.
This is my girl Malika. We just finished the session. I want to thank her. And yeah, what can I say? Great day, great finishing to the chips in Dubai. Malika.
Habibti. Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Peace and love.
Peace and love.